What's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Danny Matthews. Today we are going to be learning how to create cinematic bars on your video. Now I'm going to be showing you two methods of how to do this, and both can be done right. It really just depends on what your preference is and how you want to do it. But before I tell you how to do this, I'm going to tell you why you want to put cinema bars on your footage or why you may not want to have them. Now, different aspect ratios actually create different types of feelings in videos. A 4:3 is definitely a more old-fashioned feel, and it's going to have your TV monitor back in like the 1960s kind of feel that you'd be watching as a young kid, or your parents used to watch these types of things. Now today, 4:3 aspect ratio is heavily used as a lot more narrow thinking. It makes you kind of feel a little bit more claustrophobic because it cuts off those sides. 16:9 is just a wider version, and it's going to be your traditional like flat screen TV kind of feel and all of that. And cinebars is just an extra layer on top of that that makes it feel cinematic. It makes you feel a lot more powerful. There's a lot more scientific reasons behind it why people use this. So that's going to be the 21:9 aspect ratio, and the black bars is just cutting off the footage. So let's go ahead and jump into Adobe Premiere. For reference, in Premiere, my timeline is here, my toolbar is here, here's my source panel, my project and effects windows are going to be here. Here is the effects control for that, and finally the preview window. Now that you have the layout of Adobe Premiere, we're going to start with the first method. First things first, we are going to come over here and create a new adjustment layer. Make sure that this adjustment layer is on top of all of your footage because it's going to affect everything, and that's what we want it to do. So come over here to your effects tab and go ahead and type in cropped, and we're going to pull this effect onto the adjustment layer. Now we have different options here. We have left, top, right, and bottom with different percentages, and we're going to only affect the top and the bottom percentages, and we're going to put in 12% for the top and 12% for the bottom. As you can see, it has created a black bar on top and on bottom, and what it is doing is just cropping what is being seen. Now the cool thing about this is because it's on the adjustment layer, it doesn't affect the footage directly, only overlays on top of the footage, which means you can move the footage up and down to show what more content you want to see. And that's it, pretty simple, nothing too complex. Moving on to method number 2. This method is really cool because you have two different options that you can use with this, as well as create it as a default setup for yourself. Firstly, it takes a little bit more effort in the beginning, but is really handy when you create the preset out of it. What you're going to want to do is create a new sequence. Go ahead and change the aspect ratio. I like to do everything in my projects as 4K. If you're trying to do 1080p or even 8K, I'm going to tell you how to adjust for that. But first, we're going to start with a 4K timeline. It's going to be 3840, and instead of 2160, it's going to be 1620. This is going to allow for cutting off the footage, and the footage won't even be seen. It literally just doesn't exist. So it's going to be a more narrow, as you can see on your output monitor. Now the way to adjust this for a 1080p or even an 8K sequence, what you're going to want to do is take that second number, either divide it or multiply it by 2. So 1620 instead of 1620, divide that by 2 for 810 to get your 1080p, and multiply it 1620 by 2 to get your 8K sequence. Now you can create this as a preset, and you can save it, and you're good to go every single time you want to create a new film. And this is where all the magic comes in. You have two options for this method. Is you can export it with black bars on it, or you can export it without any black bars, and if you were to upload it to like Vimeo or YouTube, it's automatically going to put black bars on it when they full screen it. If they don't, it's just going to be a little bit more narrow and it won't have the black bars. And the reason my YouTube videos always have the black bars is because I choose to export it with it. And that's because YouTube doesn't recognize a 21:9 aspect ratio to put on any end cards or anything like that graphics. So I have to export it as a 16:9, and it just has the black bars inputted on that. So if you want to do that option, what you're going to do is come over here to your export settings and make sure that you have selected the normal 4K or 1080p or 8K sequence that you're exporting, and make sure it's just the 3840 by the normal 2160. Or if it's 1080p, it's going to be 1920 by 1080p. Then go ahead and click export, and you're good to go, and you got your black bars on your video. If you want to take it to a different option and you want to have it the right way, which is what they say in the Hollywood scene, I beg to differ. You know, it's really up to what you guys feel is more comfortable, and it works either way because all it's doing is just making non-existing footage. It's just filling it in with black. And that works both ways. Either you export it or you don't export with it. So if you choose to export without it and you upload it to YouTube, you can see that you're gonna have this 21:9 aspect ratio, and when you full screen it, it's gonna have the black bars already put into it because there's nothing there, so it fills it in with black bars. So guys, those are the two methods to create cinebars. If you have any questions whatsoever, go ahead and leave it down in the comments below, and I'll get back to you guys on that. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Dope. I swear I'm here in spirit. I just got tired of doing the outro and no one watching it, so